London is actively tracking and searching for dangerous wanted individuals. All citizens have an important role to play. Observe, report, find them down, and your streets safe.
You're listening to The Bug.
Nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain. Hello, resistors, this is The Bug, keeping the fire of hope alive in the vacuum of today's Britain. Okay, fires don't burn in vacuums. It's a little novelty Christmas light, shaped like a flame, but it's something. It is something to cling to. Joining me, as always, is Alice. And Alice, hold the front page. Technology, apparently, is here to stay. There's no way around that now. Much as I'd like to go back to the 18th century and see if we can have another track of the Industrial Revolution and get it later on this time.
But new tech is creating 4,000 jobs. Count them all, 4,000 new jobs. Thanks to new tech investment.
I mean, that's a very exciting thing if you're someone who wants to work in the tech sector, but I can only assume that this tech investment has created 4,000 jobs that will immediately be taken.
They all want to kill you.
No one in their right frame mind will actually want to do, but that's the price of progress, I guess. And the actual growth the way technology is taking over.
Now don't be stupid. Cut the bullshit.
And think of this, an automated hydro truck.
That line is valid.
You could even
Definitely need to get a shot of this.
They all want to kill you.
Backup's here.
I'll find them.
Calm down. No point.
I've seen some twisted shit in my life. But this...
Once again, FRO to who knows where this week. Who sure as hell is not here in London. I remember.
God damn it!
I want to go home.
No.
I've had lions longer than the longest fell on British soil.
This better be a joke or I'm snapping next. Knobhead! Hell's bells, that's disgusting.
eyes are auto. Rhyme hip hop got all sorts, but around awesome. What about you? I'm a 5-star work day, Liverpool champion. Work day, punch like
That son of a bitch.
Songwriting and top line, I can do it all. I'm a top line.
Another dumb asshole.
You better check what you say. I wanna talk for a sec, cause I got plenty to say. I got plenty of people around. I don't trust in my head. When was the last time I smiled?
This door ain't right.
Light-skinned princess, back up the bumper. Yeah, it's all mad in the gun, yeah, trust me. Put some respect on my name, you better check what you say. I wanna talk for a sec, cause I got plenty to say. I got plenty of people around me, I don't trust in my head. When was the last time I smiled?
What is... Huh? Oh, that's great. Look at that. That's one little ray of sunshine for today.
Your lids are getting heavy.
Oh god. Swine. Oh god. Oh god. What in the blazes happened here? Dear God, are you okay? Jesus, here, can I help you? Oh my God, are you all right? Hey, call the authorities! I just want to be left alone. Hang on, good, let me help you. Can you hear me? Wow, wasn't it? That's brilliant. Oh, wow, I'm impressed. Oh no!
This person's unconscious.
Dear God, are you okay?
Excuse me.
I'm glad I decided to go out.
No!
Shove off.
Oh no!
No, this isn't right. Ah! Ah! What's happening? Ah! Ah! Dear God.
Seen the graffiti in Camden? Spectacular.
The other terrorist guy that I know, who I may or may not fuck up about being rude to my little cousin, catches me alone on my way home from the pub. So he's about to go to town on me.
Alice, I don't know, is that in case the public gets too healthy eating all that Mediterranean muck? It's a British food for British tummies. Spelt, nettles, rabbit. That's all we need. That's all we need in the glory days. Everyone round to Nigel's for dinner. Yum, yum.
Who needs Italian olives when you can eat pickled rubber bands in a soup of regret? Who needs a nice cheese when you can eat a lukewarm, unspecified rat meat pie with 0 spices?
Sand, nettles, and bits of dead fox. That's all we needed to eat in the glory days. Let's make Britain great again. That's all from the Bug today. Good night, sleep tight, and make sure the bed bugs do bite.
The Bug, nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain.
Yum, yum.
Hello, Bugs. This is The Bug. I'm Andy. This is Alice, and today we're going to be pretending that everything is fine. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? That was as long as I could manage.
Did
Second and
this.
a half. So reality time now. however.
Waste of time,
And,
waste of
well,
life.
finally today, we're going to road test the latest update to the CISO app, the government app that has brought the great British tradition of snitching on people you don't like back to the very heart of public life, the school playground. And when a tell on you threat, they've got a whole new lease of life these days, thanks to CISO. And isn't Britain all the more...
They all want to kill you.
And have been, shall we say, involuntarily rehoused at Hotel Cap. The famous hotel that was formerly known as the British Service. That's the slogan. If you see something, say something, or if you think you might somewhere see something, say something. So, well, let's have a look at Alex, I'm sure you've got it on your phone. First glance at the interface is lovely. So neat design. Simple buttons to snitch on someone. So much better than non-government informer apps like School Losers, Can Canary, or Mark Sharp. And look, I just need to geocache Where the person I'm rapping on currently is, let's call her for the sake of argument.
Find the target. Sorry, Andy, I was busy reporting you to the authorities.
What?
So
Could
rolling your eyes when passing a Nigel Cash propaganda poster.
Could you not... If that's the forum about this, I'll take this quick little photo so I can get a drone.
All clear. Moving on.
You're not gonna get up.
Dear God.
Don't get ambushed.
Shit! Shit! Over here! I've got a man down!
Moving on. No one's here.
This is ridiculous. I just want to talk. Allied! Get up!
I definitely heard something. Control. I'm looking the spider.
Should define all your household chores as patriotic.
Nothing to report.
Moving,
Moving, please.
Problem solved.
If you don't do the washing up, do you even want a crease? In British step.
This is the bug on the Buccaneer. Well, before we go today, Alice, let's delve into what we most miss about the old days. I'm going to kick off with the flag. I never thought I'd miss the old Union Jack, but somehow our new flag managed to be even more irritating than that. I don't know quite what it is, if it's the new colour scheme, or if it's just that it symbolises the loss of everything we once held dear. But that flag irritates the hell out of me.
Was everything you ever held dear Scotland?
Well, that was something I held quite dear.
I miss being able to dodge my friends' destination weddings in Italy. There's nothing worse than being asked to spend the equivalent of a motorbike on some sort of boat-based farce in Sorrento. And I always used to really enjoy saying, oh no, I can't afford it. Now they're all getting married in Brighton and I have to go to that alleged beach. It's made of rocks, Andy. If your sandcastle is an actual castle, that's not a beach.
I'll tell you what I miss. I miss free will. That was fun. Remember that? I mean, was it an illusion all the time? Who cares? It felt fun. I miss cash, particularly coins. I really miss coins. The fun of doing a heads or tails best of 5 to see if you had to go to the gym, and then the best of 7, the best of 9, and particularly one. That was a losing streak. Now with crypto, all the romance has gone out of heads and tails.
I miss romance, Andy. I miss there being mystery in life and not just a hope that your new partner isn't good enough at hacking to find out all the information the government has on you.
Bye for now, bug fans. Keep feeding the kid in the resistance, and one day it will grow into a Tyrannosaurus Rex that will use the Cass family as toothpicks. Metaphorically, of course.
They hacked it, and, you know, he lost everything.
They said it was safe.
The dealer transferred the funds using cryptocurrency.
They said it was crime-free.
Well, it's new jobs, isn't it? Gotta have new jobs. They said it was patriotic.
Well, maybe. Uh-huh.
Always needs a curtain straw. Goes in and out of his flat with that black briefcase. Oh, not for someone else. Oh, you what? disruptions to traffic and public transportation. Please monitor local media for advisories.
My fault.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you can't walk through the city without the tourist taking the acronyms slamming you in the face. Whether it's homeless people, boarded up shop.
Could you not stand so close?
Doing good? Give me a break. Don't let anyone take you.
Yeah, well...
Searching for suspect. Combat mode engaged.
Drone, enter search of the area.
Currently searching the perimeter. Target remains undetected.
I know you're here somewhere.
Imagine recruiting an Albion guard to DedSag. Imagine pigs flying while you're at it.
Entering combat mode.
Searching for target. The target has been located.
Come out! Wherever you are! Nothing to report. Checking.
Your lids are getting heavy.
GBB. First on the scene. First to bring you the news. Searching for suspect. Resuming standard operations.
Right, we're going into lockdown. off, you drone fuck!
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? They're going to be listening anyway. They're listening to everything. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organisation who uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so powerful. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't really listen to them. Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis times.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation. And the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become part of the nation. What is the nation? The nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does, it's a myth, but that's what they go for. On that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. I mean, what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration of this process where you get corporations and the state operating but that isn't that rare. I mean, it's exactly the same thing in Nazi Germany. You look at the concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany, there were private companies in those camps making use of that slave labor. Fascism often works with corporations, and it's doing the same now. That's the way in which they track what you do. That's the way in which they track who you talk to. They operate as each other's property.
Charles is an expert in the dark arts of surveillance who worked to set up democratic media in post-communist states. How did it go so wrong in Britain?
We're looking at all the wrong things when we look at Britain's crisis. There's a lot of concentration on data and how that's been used and manipulated. And what we haven't looked at is power structures and the profit that lies behind this. For example, if we examine what actually happened, there's a company that's really very interested in selling passports and making it easy to provide visas for investment and so on. And historically, throughout the world, they've been working with this big data manipulation company in order to overthrow government. And then suddenly all the chickens came home to roost. Nobody could find any receipts for what was paid for. Nobody could figure out how things were done, but everybody had a feeling that something really stunk. and they couldn't figure it out. And yet it was standing there in their face the whole time. There's a couple of different ways that we got where it is that we are. I mean, one, you have a lot of smaller organizations, smaller power groups, companies as well, who are bending things just a little. Oh, we'll compromise a little bit, we'll bend the rules a little bit, and try to achieve what it is that we hope to achieve that's good for us. And if you add all of that up, what you end up with is a big wall moving in a big way. From a lot of little buttons being pushed. But also there's this other thing that's going on here, is the gathering of data and the analysis of data has authoritarianism contained within its DNA. It is by its nature a tool for authoritarianism. And it has been used in that way.
How does big data look into our lives? They covered it for the food crisis.
We're starting to see the merger of private data and that with data held by the state into what are called social credit systems. This is where every aspect of your behaviour is monitored and plotted up by a central system, sort of score you as a person, a bit like a credit card that's predicated on all of your behaviour rather than just the money you're spending. And this can have profound impact. We're starting to see systems emerge which will punish you and stop you from doing things in society based on your behaviours. And this can be as trivial as if you jaywalk, if you cross the road in the wrong place, you might lose points. If you do some community activities or help your neighbours, you might earn points. And then this can be used to sort of evaluate you as a person. And this could mean, for example, better travel privileges, being able to travel first class, or being denied from travelling first class, to not being able to travel at all. These systems are very real and very possible because of all of the data that has now helped.
So if your ears are burning and you think someone might be watching you, you're probably right. They're watching all of us. I'm Tash and you've been listening to Bucking It. Keep listening, keep sharing the show and keep listening. They're watching us, but we're watching us.
Oh, I'm listening.
This is London Calling. You're listening to Bucking It, your source for what they don't want you to know. With me, it's hard to believe that there could be shortages of food and medicine in an advanced country like ours, and yet here we are. Those old government promises of adequate food turn out to be just another lie. Today we're short of basic foodstuffs and vital medical supplies. Hundreds have already died of conditions that could be easily cured. The black market means that criminal gangs like Can Kelly run our city. And Prime Minister Jeff Sessions is even around to pretend to care. How do we go from a consumer paradise to a place of empty shelves and fighting for supply? What turns a land of plenty into a wild west of hoarding, food battles and black market barrels? We protect everyone who comes in the sector, as keeping their identity. Here's veteran political reporter Ian on the power behind shortages.
I mean, what was the first thing that happened when Britain sealed itself off? The first stuff that got stopped from coming in was fresh food. I mean, we could live without the fresh food. I mean, everyone's quality of life got instantly worse when we could live without it. The most damaging part was when the radioactive isotopes got coming. Now, radioactive isotopes, that's what we use in cancer screening, cancer treatment. Now, that stuff, it has a short half-life. Technetium used to save hundreds of thousands of lives just by screening for cancer, let alone testing for cancer. But that stuff has a half-life of 66 hours. As soon as those walls went up, there was just no time to bring it into the country, and that is when people started dying. And then the medicine. The thing is, there's loads of medicines that you just can't stockpile. There was a moment before it took place when actually there was some effort to try and stockpile some of the medicine. There were some things that could be done. For a lot of it, there was simply nothing that could be done. We had a major problem with drugs for schizophrenia. So we saw such an uptick in the kind of attachment on the street and people suffering on their own because they didn't have the mental health drugs, because those drugs simply couldn't be stockpiled. And we eventually found the same thing with food that weren't produced in the UK. And the trouble with the UK was we don't produce our own food. We never have. For 100 years, we produced under half of our own food. So as soon as those wars went up, we started having significant material problems. In Britain always told itself it had this national myth, right, that it was because it got through the war, that it could go through any kind of hardship. I mean, that wasn't really the case. People during the war was far more frightened than some of the historical stuff makes out. Now, what did we see? People don't want to go through that stuff. They were desperate for the things that they had before, and they were scared. So they went to the black market. The same thing that always happens. And where did the growth of Clan Kelly come from? It came from people wanting the things that they could previously get legitimately and could now only get through the black market, funneling funds towards criminality. And from there, we got to the situation we have now of this big war between criminals and security that seems to dominate what's going on out there on the street.
It can't take a step in this here city.
Nothing shakes people's faith in capitalism quite as much as when capitalism fails to deliver. Here's underground writer and analyst Alfie, the politics of
I think what we've come to now is a realisation that capitalism has essentially failed. I mean, the one key promise of capitalism, because it makes to its citizens, is that there will be surplus, that we will have plenty, and that's the whole logic for running society in this way, that people will have enough. And now, with these kind of huge shortages of everything, you're seeing that system collapse. It hasn't delivered on its primary promise. And I think we've really reached a situation where we have to do away with capitalism entirely. We're seeing a situation where there's shortages for the many, but for a few individuals, there's an elite who are not struggling and short of anything. So this is kind of fundamental inequality of a capitalist system, which is no longer producing the goods for most of us. Shortages are being used as well. I'm not saying that there isn't a real shortage, there possibly is real shortages, but shortages are being used as an excuse for those in power, those elites, to keep what they want and not give to the rest of us what we need. So the excuse that there's simply not enough to go around is the justification for maintaining a kind of power of the 1% and leaving the rest of us short.
So if you're starving hungry tonight, if your parents can't get their medicine and your brothers and sisters have to steal to eat, remember, it's all for the good of our people, or Clan Kelly, or someone, just not us. So that's benefit. You've been listening to Buccaneers with me, Tash. Keep spreading the word and keep sharing the TikTok. There's enough of everything out there for all of us. We just need the guts to take it on.
Hello and welcome back to The Upload. In this episode, we're talking about CTOS 3.0, the city operating system that's now powering all of London. For those of you who need reminding, as if anyone does at this point, CTOS was first used in Chicago in 2014 and then San Francisco in 2017 before coming here to London. And every time it's been rolled out, it's been pretty much an unmitigated disaster.
For those of you who are listening who are lucky enough not to be here in London's chaotic scenes, it's worth remembering that the telecom tower is now owned by Bloom. The tower looms over northwest London. It's always been a communications hub, acting as part of the UK's television and communications network, although there's been some secrecy around its use. And now that Bloom owns it, it's only even more secret.
Yeah, now everything as part of Bloom's city surveillance operation is run through the telecoms tower. And I have to say, it looks completely ridiculous. It's got that silly crown thing at the top and all the blue lights.
What's that even about? What does it do? I don't see that there's any purpose to that at all.
It's a blight on the skyline, if you ask me. And it's become the main point of control for millions of people. The System Network and Bagley are both operated and streamed from there too.
And don't forget about the self-driving cars too.
I always thought they were just running on their own.
No, CTOS is the big control system behind the cars. There was a point back in the earliest days of self-driving car technology that they operated by themselves. They used to use a series of sensors to see the world around them. Radar, for instance, would look far up into the distance, while LiDAR would detect objects nearby. And while these cars still use some of this technology, Bloom CTOS and its detailed maps and data that it has on London really makes Bloom be able to take control of it. And CTOS can take control of your car if you're parked incorrectly. It's no surprise that it was made mandatory to have a self-driving car.
The system is so bad though, it's so annoying. Whenever I try to use one of the shareable self-driving cars, I always find myself stuck in traffic jams or roadblocks. Not to mention the accidents. I've heard so many stories of cars shunting into the back of others. I think they're worse than human drivers sometimes.
The technology was meant to make things better, but Bloom has made it so bad that it just makes London even more chaotic than it was before. I'm giving up on the cars. I'm only using the bikes, which are not self-driving at the moment, at least. And don't even get me started on the data. Everything that Bloom sees from your movements around the city and the self-driving cars is collected and feeds back into its big information control system.
Oh, not you and Bloom and privacy again. You're a broken record.
Not as broken as our city's cars.
This is London Calling. You're here with me, Pat, and Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. In today's world, we've all had to get used to every move being tracked by the optics on our temples, and the cameras around us, and with every click we make online. It seems like everything we do keeps a big data breach. Why are data guys like Blue so hungry to hold our private information and our messages? What are they using it for? Will we ever have real private lives again? What is privacy in the digital world? And what happens when capitalism and surveillance become one? As you know, we keep streaming and data. Speaking from a secure location, here's new technology specialist Charles. He works all over the world, trying to keep democracy strong in the face of the data state.
If you have enough personal data on somebody, you're able to predict what it is that they're going to do. You can tell what they might be passionate about, but mostly you can tell what they feel. And if you can tell what someone feels, then you can manipulate them and you can move them in particular direction. Data is collected on citizens in every possible way. Data is collected through surveillance cameras. Data is collected from television sets. They don't even necessarily need to be super smart television sets. Data is collected from voter records. It's collected from how much power do you use in your house and how much water do you use in your house. In pre-crisis Britain, we got really used to all of our services being free. Everything suddenly became free that was digital. But what people forgot is that if you're not paying for it, then you're the product being sold.
If technology brings out the worst in capitalism, capitalism brings out the worst in technology. Senior academic Alfie tells us how big business repurposes big data.
Historically, what's happened, of course, is that people have traded their privacy for their convenience. As smartphones and other kinds of technology came in and became mass-consumed, mass-used items and technological objects, gradually people were so attracted to the affordances of these technologies that privacy kind of retreated into the background and into the state we've got now, where it's essentially gone. Having this access to this data makes huge tech companies like Blue so much more powerful than they would be otherwise, and not just in the obvious ways. Of course, there's a lot of worry and fear over what they can do with the data. They can track anyone, find anyone, see what every individual is doing at any point in time. But I think there's even deeper reasons why this data empowers these huge companies to control our society and make us do things. So lots of predictive technologies which are implemented by these tech giants. It's not only interested in knowing what we're going to do, but influencing the patterns of our movements. So technologies might suggest routes to use in the city, places to go, restaurants to go to, cafes to go to, music to listen to. And these suggestions are not just predicting what we might like to do, they're actually influencing the way citizens move.
Think, eat, meet, and use their city as a space. So London has become a place where a small group of surveillance capitalist companies like Bloom can control the movements of individuals and orchestrate the way they move around their city and the way they essentially live, the things they do, the things they enjoy and the life they lead. So we're really kind of outsourcing our decision making, I would say, to a huge corporate capitalist company, and there's something very, very scary about that indeed. All these technologies can be used to not only influence us to act as the perfect consumer, but also